We will now move to a discussion with Alok Bansal, the director of the Indian Foundation, live from New Delhi. Ruslan Bortnik, director of Ukrainian Institute of Politics, live from Ukraine. Sergey Dorovanov, director of communications on BCMF BRICS Culture Media Forum. Thank you for joining us. I wanted to come to you first, Alok Bansal. What do you think North Korea is trying to signify with this missile launch?
See, Nick, North Korea has been trying to exhibit its belligerence, and North Korea has been trying to say that it's not willing to be subjugated, and from time to time it indulges in such tests to show to the world that it has the capacity to reach different parts of the world and target countries in its neighborhood. It's also a warning. I think it's a threat. And at a time when there are reports, clear reports, that North Korean troops are fighting in the conflict in Russia and Ukraine, I think this is a muscle flexing which the North Korean regime is trying to do to show to the world.
I wanted to also ask you, can we see this conflict developing? Obviously, Blinken has warned of the cooperation that Russia and North Korea have. Will the US get involved?
See, I really don't think so. The present US administration is on its last legs, and President Trump is quite optimistic of resolving the issue. So I personally feel that once the new administration takes over in US, you could see some sort of a resolution of Russia-Ukraine conflict. In the past also, there were mediation efforts by Turkey, etc., which had virtually resolved this conflict to a very great extent, but certain pressure from the Western countries prevented the resolution of this conflict. But I think now that the regime in the US changes, you could see the resolution of Russia-Ukraine war. Let me be very emphatic. I visited Moscow some times back, and it doesn't seem to be a city at conflict. It's actually perfect normalcy that you can see in Moscow. In fact, it could be any other city in Europe. So the impact on Russia, which the West keeps broadcasting, is not really there. But yes, Russia does face a demographic crunch which may not provide them soldiers to fight on the front. And that's where I think these North Korean troops' availability makes a difference. But I have a feeling that once Trump administration takes over, I am quite confident that this conflict would be resolved. I think America would take far more proactive stance to resolve the conflict rather than fueling it.
I want to move to Ruslan Bortnik next. Moving on to this offensive in the Kursk region, obviously we've heard the Kursk region come up every day in the news. What is the importance of the Kursk region, and what is Ukraine trying to achieve in launching this offensive?
Hello, colleagues. Ukraine is trying to keep this war on the horizon of global behavior and global attitudes, and Ukraine is trying to find also a resolution of this conflict. But Ukraine is not going to lose the stakes in this conflict, and Ukraine is not going to go only one-side compromises in this conflict. I'm sure that Ukrainian, if the Russian war will go on, the risks of new Korean war will be also significant. Because now North Korea is using the Russian-Ukrainian war for exercising its own troops, for preparation for the possible new war, from the implementing a new war technologies, for obtaining a new weapon from the Russian side, and so on. So Ukrainian war has a huge perspectives of the further internalization and the implication in other regions of the war, including, of course, Korea Peninsula, Middle East, maybe Africa, and so on and so on.
Dr. Sergey, I wanted to ask, these actions in the Kursk region, this doesn't show any time of slowing down. It doesn't seem like there's any chance of a ceasefire coming anytime soon. Is that correct?
First of all, I want to tell that we can see that President Zelensky, right now, he was not re-elected. And right now, from the strategic point of view, this operation in Kursk right now is not reasonable at all. But because all life experience of Mr. Zelensky, he was a showman, right? And that's why his achievement is completely publicity and some media war. He is doing well his media war. That's why he started to do this operation in Kursk, because he knows that legally he is not president at all, and soon new administration of Trump will be in power in America, and we're expecting the inauguration of Donald Trump. And by the way, Donald Trump is big peacemaker. We can see that he already brought two leaders of North and South Korea together to dialogue. He has some experience with this dialogue between two countries. And his mind full of peacemakers ideas between Russia and Ukraine as well. That's why for Zelensky is a chance before the peacemaking dialogue will start to do something to show that he is in power, that Ukraine can have some forces to fight with Russia. But we can see that from the strategic point of view, this operation in Kursk not reasonable at all.
Ruslan, how are people in Ukraine feeling about Trump? It's obviously 2 weeks today when he comes into office. Are they feeling optimistic, or are they worried he's going to cut all the funding to Ukraine?
But I want to add to my colleague's previous answer. We need to have some discussion. This Kursk operation is not having any sense, as you say, because before, till the time when Ukrainian forces are in the Russian lands, internationally recognized Russian lands in Kursk Oblast, Russia cannot convince the world about his success in this war. So it's very important negotiation tool for Ukraine to find the true balance between the country in the future. Because if Ukraine will not be in this territory of Russian lands, that Russia can claim that we are winning this war, and so Ukraine needs to go to a deep concessions in this situation. Now situation is different. Russia is not able to withdraw Ukrainian wars from its own lands, and Russia is not able to make a significant marks of its victory in this war. So it's very important from political side. Answering for your question very fast, of course we had a huge hopes for the peace resolution in Ukraine on Trump's shoulders and so on. We are hoping that the negotiation between Ukraine and Russia, at the first stage between Ukraine and the United States, will start nearest weeks, and maybe Ukrainian president will come to the United States, and at the first it will be a negotiation between Ukraine and the United States, and maybe some kind of agreement, and then it will be a negotiation between the United States and Russia, and maybe some kind of agreement. But from my professional side, of course, I think that the possibility of continuation of the war now is higher than possibility of making the peace, unfortunately.
I'm very, very sorry to interrupt. We've run out of time. Thank you all for joining us.